I can. Are you willing to go out there and save the lives of our children, even if it means losing your own life? Yes, I am. I believe you, J-Roo. You ready?
You have nothing to worry about.
Now, I don't push your Lex. Others had their turn to flex. J-Roo is up next. All these so-called players up in the rap game got brothers on the corner selling cocaine. It used to be LaToya and Jim hats, but now it's Uzi's Max and G-packs of cracks. Everybody psycho or some type of good fellow, but me, I keep it real, that's all swan like Jello. Don't drink Cristal and I can't stand mo. Never receive currency for moving a kilo or an ounce, make them bounce to this fake pimp free flow. I never knew hustlers confessed in stereo or on video get caught, you know who turns states. Evidence, murder, weapon, confession, and fingerprints. Mama always said, watch what comes out your mouth. Tight case for the DA from here to down south. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding like King Solomon's wealth. You're a player, but only because you be playing yourself. With all that big Willie talk hot, you're playing yourself. With all that big gun talk bop, you're playing yourself. With all that rah, 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 you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. With all that rah, 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 you're playing yourself. With all that big gun talk bop, you're playing yourself. With all that big Willie talk hot, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Now these ladies is looking pretty from city to city. I refined a few I met around the country. The nitty gritty is all reality, no question. Actual fact like tight jeans cause yeast infection. And sisters with good minds get no respect when that's all hanging out playing the bar section of the club. Shake what your mama gave you. Back to the lab, I drop the truth. Cause rhyming is more than just my craft or a way to get so flash, cast, or blasted. Black women, make sure you're respected. When just kicking that all off the walls, let them know from jump dead it. You're not ignorant. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding is the key to wealth. Put some clothes on that so you respect yourself. With those hooker tight wears, hun, you're playing yourself. With those skin tight jeans, baby, you're playing yourself. Everything all exposed, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Everything all exposed, you're playing yourself. With those skin tight jeans, baby, you're playing yourself. With those hooker tight wears, hun, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Now, I don't bust a tech. Bubble drugs in the projects or use mics to sell sex. Nowadays it's all about this, so much yin yang, it's ridiculous. If you got so much cheese, where are the black distributors? And these record companies shake them down like mobsters, but imposters like commercial locks are not rosters. Always faking moves, never making moves. Shake bottles, pop, the government is breaking down you fools. You work or we can give the devil back his loot for jewels. And the steak on your plate is filled with chemicals. Still, brothers be brothers, all battered and bruised on the streets. Won't see snakes on my feet. The race is on, but I won't compete in this competition because I have a greater mission. I hope that you listen. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding brings long life and health. Think anything else and you're playing yourself. So all that big Willie talk, hop, you're playing yourself. And all those skin tight jeans, hun, you're playing yourself. And all that rah, 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 you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. And all those hooker type wears, baby, you're playing yourself. And all that big gun talk money, you're playing yourself.
Sam here is anxious. He won't be approved for the procrastinating.
Yo, on the front wall, jump up and get bucked. If you're feeling lucky duck, then press your luck. I snatch fake gangster MCs and make them faggot flambe. Your nine spray. My mind spray, malignant myths that'll leave caught defunct. The results, you'll remain stuffed in a car trunk. You couldn't come to the jungles of the East, popping that gang, you won't survive. Get live, catching wreck is our thing. I don't gang bang or shoot out bang bang. The relentless lyrics, the only dope I slang. I'm a true master, you can check my credentials, cause I choose to use my infinite potential. Got a freaky flow. Control the mic like Fidel Castro. Like Cuba, so deep that you can scuba dive. My job's origin is unknown, like the tubers. I've accumulated honeys all across the map. Cause I'd rather bust a nut than bust a cap in your back. In fact, my rap snaps your saprarilia. I'm the Mac, so I don't need to totem at. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not hit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash state. Stagnate nonsense, but if you persist, you'll get your snot box bust. Your press up on this. I flip, hoes dip, none of the real niggas skip. You don't know enough math to count the mics that I whip. Keep the dirty rotten scamp, that's his verbal weapon. Spit, real, rough and rugged, shine like a gold nugget. Every time I pick up the microphone, I drug it, unplug it on chunks with the gangster battle. Leave your nines at home and bring your skills to the battle. You're rattling on and ain't saying nothing. That's why you got snuffed when you bump heads with dirty rotten. Have you forgotten? I'll tap your jaw. I also kick like kung fu flicks by Run Short. Made frauds bleed every time I G, cause I perfected my drunkard style like Sam Seed. Pseudo psychos, I play like Michael Jackson when I'm busting ass and breaking backs. Inhale the putrefied aroma, breathe too deep and you'll wind up coma. Toast the king, I'm hard like a fifth of vodka, and bring your click cause I'm a hard rock knocker. I got ya out on a limb, about to push you off the blink. Let you draw your cross, but you burn a shot blanks. When the East is in the house, you should come a quit. Fly like a jet, sting like a hornet. Knuckleheads get live and set it off if you want it dirty. Rotten down cruises, crushing fools. No jokes for styles more fatal than secondhand smoke. Don't provoke the wrath of this rhyme inventor, cause I blow up spots like the World Trade Center. Come with this super duper on his assault mission. The text technique, cause he's a technician. Wishing he'll go away, won't help the weapon spot. Then skills a shot, cause any idiot can let off a block. Hard rock smelling the clutch of the sun toucher. You claim you got beef on the streets, so what ya gonna do when real niggas roll up on you and you don't got your crew? Pull your Glock, but you don't got the heart. You was webbed straight from the start. Bought a tool and didn't learn how to use it. Got lost in Brooklyn, so you had to lose it. Just for frontin', you got that ass wet. Check this out. Once again, Smith and Wesson in the joint one time. Fully close to this newness in 94. You know what I'm saying? Lock your doors, nobody's safe. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. I walk around town with the pound strapped down to my side. No frontin', just in case I gotta smoke some. Round here, heads don't act the age. It might be another dead boy upon the page. Into the cipher with your lighter. L's are ready, prepare for another all night. But keep a watch for the cops, cause they rock glocks. Coming on the block, trying to rock knots. Pick the yak and standing there with my nappy hair and my dirty gear. All the 1 year, now I'm up out of here. Pigs hit me up and down with the front. Is it because I'm down or is it because I'm from Bucktown? Home of the original gun clappers. 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 Got 5 MC that wanna contest sweet. Got your nooses ready hanging over the trees. Bring on your sounds to get drowned by my massive. Kill your body boy and hold your love up for hostage. Knock, knock, nigga, knock, that's 4 shots empty. On a violator that was sent out to get me. I'm sober from the flow up and everything's black, but still I'm on point, ready to buck, ain't nothing sweet, Jack. Bucktown, I represented on the love. Deeply rooted from my Timbs to my dick above. Don't sweat the bulge coming from my hip. Grip what you get hit when I let my tool click. Nowhere to run, ambush lurks in the dark. Help the skelter smirks while you're getting torn apart. Here comes the rude boys with the ganja plants. Smith and Wesson generals of the boot camps. Home with the original gun clappers. Home with the original gun clappers. Home with the original Home of the original gun clap. Home of the original gun clap. Home of the original gun clap. Another murderer, just another prankster. Rude boy dead, cause I'm taught him was a gangster. Tried to live the life of a hood from the streets. Test the wrong dread, now I'm in eternal sleep. Mr. Ripper Eye, lurk in the sty. Twist up the ganja when I wanna get high. With my brethren, a Buddha session. Learn your lesson or get blasted by Mr. Smith or Mr. Wesson.
Buck towns everywhere, I swear. It's clear to me. You feel the weed, now I really see.
Hey, what is happening, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Slow News Day Morning Edition. My name is Steve Poikinen. I am yet still in an undisclosed location in Northern California. I'm staying dry. Dude, the fucking weather has been gnarly around here in the last couple of days. I saw before I was going on this morning, like 70,000 people in the Bay Area out of power. That's probably going to continue. I'm going to run down to the Santa Cruz Mountains tomorrow. And my buddy that I'm going to be crashing with texted me last night and was like, yeah, we're on generators. And even though it's pouring rain, my well isn't working. So I don't have any actual water right now, but you're welcome to come through. And that's just every day. Erie Ferry, what's happening? Good to see you. Welcome to the live chat. It is year-round power outages in California. It's sometimes they cut off the power if there might be a stiff breeze. You never know. Rather than fix the broken infrastructure, rather than maybe scale back the pay of do-nothing CEOs and middle management, PG&E has decided, fuck the customer. We just need your money. And we're going to get it because we're a utility monopoly. As I'm looking through the queue for what I'm going to be able to talk about here on the YouTube, we might have a relatively short YouTube stream, and we'll be finishing the rest of it over on the Rockfin, and we'll continue over on Odyssey, and I guess we still fucking live stream on Twitter. I don't even know. Let me get through the business real quick, and then we'll get to the news. The show is sponsored by Matrix Bars. That is the QR code up in the top corner of the screen. You can scan that on your phone and meet the white rabbit who will instruct you on how to make your purchase of at least one 3.5 gram psilocybin mushroom chocolate bar. They are fantastic. There's at least 4 flavors now. They all taste good. Like, it's weird. There's a strawberries and cream that makes me not want to, like, choke. Hurl. It's good. It's weird. Shouldn't be. Strawberries and cream is gross. But it's good. I don't know. Jamie Nix, what up? I think I might talk a little bit about this here on YouTube, and we'll circle back to it over on the Rockfin for the clips, because it's the clips that get us the banhammer over here. Arrest Fauci is trending, and it's trending not because of all of the trouble that Fauci has got himself into over funding gain of function research. YouTube, that's a fucking fact. The NIH came out and said it. Not for that, not for repeatedly lying to the American public and the press, but for his treatment of dogs in animal tests. You guys, this is peak milk toast white dude, when it's the dogs that are getting people upset. Anthony Fauci is never going to see a second behind bars. Anthony Fauci is going to live his crooked life all the way till he shuffles loose the mortar coil from natural causes. Or 2 gunshots to the back of the head is a suicide. Either way. But there is never going to be any legal action on Anthony Fauci. There's no will. Going after Fauci means you've got to admit the whole fucking thing is rigged and wrong and broken and crooked. The amount of people culpable if Anthony Fauci goes down reverberates throughout every institution of power. That's not going to happen. It's not. Arrest Fauci is trending on Twitter because it's a distraction. It's one of those things that allows people to feel like they're doing something without actually having to fucking do anything. Yes, Anthony Fauci is a fucking monster. Yes, he's a liar and a murderer, tortures people and animals. All of those things are true. It is equally true that he will not see a jail cell for this. Public pressure needs to attack the system and not the individual. It's the systems themselves that allow for these individuals to be promoted and to rise to the top, because the system itself rewards sociopathy, rewards greed, rewards people who are going to cut corners and bend rules to get things done. Gray Walker, I'll put that up on the screen. Notice how Cuomo has been swept under the rug with allegations. Well, this is what we've said the whole time. That they replaced the quote unquote sex pest, right? Saying nothing about the fact that Cuomo's policies were responsible for the deaths of at least 14,000 elderly New Yorkers in nursing homes as a result of being put on ventilators early with no reason. Nobody's talking about that. They gave you Governor fucking Tent Revival, Governor fucking televangelist out there. This is the Democrat that they replaced Governor Titty Grab with. Governor Titty Grab, too bad for the public. Governor televangelist, A-OK. A-OK. The governor of New York screaming into a microphone that every citizen in the Empire State become her apostle for the jabby jab is just so fucking weird, you guys. So weird. The White House and Vice President Kamala Harris have issued probably the most performatively nonsensical strategy is what they're calling it. Let's take a look. President Biden and I have released our first ever national gender strategy. This is our vision for the future of our nation, one that is bold in strategy, one that this moment calls for. Well, let's see what this actually is. I honestly, I haven't looked yet. I am both curious and horrified. Let's see what we see. Oh, that's the wrong one. God damn it. Hang on. I thought I had that. Oh, I see why. Okay. Never mind. You guys know it's a fun morning when I'm my own producer. So let's go to the fact sheet. Released a mere 3 days ago, the Biden-Harris administration issues first ever national gender strategy to advance the full participation of all people, including women and girls, in the United States and around the world. If you were watching the show yesterday, there was a moment where our guest, Angela McArdle, was talking. We were talking about the debate that Scott Horton and neocon gremlin Bill Kristol had at Soho Forum a couple of weeks ago. And she was saying that if you listen to Kristol, this like empty rhetoric about bodily autonomy or freedom for women and girls in Afghanistan is why it was so horrific that Joe Biden pulled out. Shit like that. So this is a nakedly transparent, I don't know, grab for woke points. President Biden and Vice President Harris believe that advancing gender equity We're going to come back to that word a lot. And equality is fundamental to every individual's economic security, safety, health, and ability to exercise their most basic rights. It's also essential to economic growth and development, democracy, and political stability, and the security of nations across the globe. Gender is a national security issue, y'all. Ensuring that all people, regardless of gender, have the opportunity to realize their full potential is, therefore, both a moral and strategic imperative. Wow. Well, that's they're gonna hit every single buzzword in this, and if you've been noticing the annihilation of language, if you've been concerned about the fact that what is theoretically supposed to be a representative republic seems to be nothing more than a branch office of the World Economic Forum, which releases white papers, policy papers, and WEF talking points on the day. Well, this outline isn't going to help you much. Yet no country in the world has achieved gender equality, and we are at an inflection point. The COVID-19 pandemic has fueled a health crisis, an economic crisis, and a caregiving crisis that have magnified the challenges that women and girls, especially women and girls of color, have long faced. It has also exacerbated a shadow pandemic of gender-based violence in the U.S. and around the world. These overlapping crises have underscored that for far too long, the status quo has left too many behind. Interesting. We are definitely not going to spend a lot of time on this. The moment demands that we build back better. There's your World Economic Forum mandated slogan. It requires that we acknowledge and address long-standing gender discrimination and the systemic barriers to full participation that have held back women and girls. And it requires that we bring the talent and potential of all people to bear to face the challenges of our time. That's why the Biden-Harris administration established the White House Gender Policy Council, charged with leading the development of the first ever national strategy on gender equity and equality, which sets forth an aspirational vision and comprehensive agenda to advance gender equity and equality in domestic and foreign policy, and demonstrates that families, communities, and nations around the world stand to benefit. There are 10 interconnected priorities that they've identified: economic security, gender-based violence, health, education, justice and immigration, human rights and equality under the law, security and humanitarian relief, climate change, science and technology, democracy, participation and leadership. These priorities are inherently linked and must be tackled in concert. Now, I'm gonna check chat here for a minute, see what's going on. Let's see. I want to say hey to everyone who's watching over on the Rockfin. May as well. I didn't actually end the whole business thing. I'll do that later. I will. Going back to this absolute shit show. I want to touch on the economic and NatSec parts of this because they're creating the climate change. Because remember, you guys, it's going to all be about climate change for the next several months. And that's going to affect supply chain. It's going to affect energy consumption. It's going to affect communications, travel, all kinds of shit. So note how anytime economics is mentioned, they roll out the WEF slogan. As we recover from the pandemic, we have the opportunity to build an economy that works for women and their families. To build back better, we will ensure that people have equal access to good jobs, including by addressing persistent gender discrimination and systemic barriers to full workforce participation. Invest in care infrastructure and care workers to help rebuild the economy and lower costs for working families. That means absolutely nothing. Those are just words, next to a bullet point. Dismantle the barriers to equal opportunity and education that undermine the ability to compete on a level playing field, recognizing that education affects future economy security. They're just, I mean, this is all about access, participation. This is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. This is essentially a feel-good paper that has like absolutely nothing to do with anything that they're trying to legitimately advance. People got paid for that. They got paid for that. Any ladies in the chat want to be bricklayers. Now, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. This may sound controversial, but there are jobs historically that men, based solely on their physiology, are much more capable of doing. There are jobs based solely on their physiology that women are more capable of doing. Those should be celebrated. People's differences should be recognized and appreciated. And we should not spend decades emasculating and shaming people for trying to do a decent day's work. I don't know. It's fucking insane, man. Yeah, biology is a big hot button issue right now. Recognizing that there may actually be differences between men and women, recognizing that no matter what you identify as, like, there's some science that contradicts the fact that you are an otherkin unicorn spaceship. There is. Biology is racist. Cognitive resonance, it is. Biology, known racist. Biology, known eugenicist. Nature isn't always nice. Hell no. Let's see, I can't do that story on the YouTube. We can do this though. We can. So there's, as we approach the artificial intelligence era, and we've talked about this a number of times. We've gone through a number of documents that detail which era of technological advancement we're in now, what the next one is, that kind of thing. As we enter in and participate totally against our will in the era of artificial intelligence, even the people who have been pushing this technology and pushing surveillance and pushing all-encompassing data capture are taking pause to be like, y'all, we might be in trouble with this AI shit. Of all fucking people, Peter Thiel, founder of Palantir, and big shouts to Sleepy Josh for always throwing the Slashdot articles into the Slow News Day element chat. Tech billionaire Peter Thiel believes that people should be more worried about surveillance AI rather than artificial general intelligences. The venture capitalist whose firm contracts with ICE to use AI surveillance to round up illegal immigrants is saying that surveillance AI might be misused. The venture capitalist who co-founded big data firm Palantir said in an event in Miami on Wednesday that on the path to AGI, Advanced General Intelligence, you get surveillance AI, which he has described as a, quote, communist totalitarian technology, unquote, that, by the way, Peter Thiel has not only helped develop and implement worldwide, but has become a tech billionaire off. Those that are worried about AGI aren't actually paying attention to the thing that really matters, Thiel said, adding that governments will use AI-powered facial recognition technology like the shit he already sells to control people. His comments come 3 years after Bloomberg reported that Palantir knows everything about you. Thiel has also invested in facial recognition company Clearview AI and surveillance startup Andrew Will. Why are they all named after fucking Lord of the Rings shit? This is creepy, Peter Thiel. Palantir, which has a market value of $48 billion, has developed data trawling technology that intelligence agencies and governments use for surveillance and to spot suspicious patterns in public and private databases. Customers reportedly include, repeatedly include, repeatedly include, as in exclusive to only for the first 3 years of operation, the CIA, the FBI, and the U.S. Army. Thiel, a well-known libertarian. Let's be careful about that, shall we? Because he's more of an objectivist, Randian psychopath who also co-founded PayPal with our good pal Piero Midyar and holds a board seat at Facebook. Said Silicon Valley isn't talking about AGI as much today as it was 6 or 7 years ago. In the same talk, Thiel pitted AI against cryptocurrencies, saying he'd prefer to see the latter one succeed. If we say crypto is libertarian, that is fundamentally a force for decentralization, then I think we should also be willing to say that AI, especially in the low-tech surveillance form, is essentially communist. If you want to frame it as a technological race, I want the crypto decentralized world to work. Interesting juxtaposition there, because let's be honest, the way that blockchain tech, crypto, and especially all of the ones that are hitting, all of them are surveillance coins. There is, yes, the nodes are decentralized. Yes, they are, but they are also public, immutable, and make it so anyone who understands how the shit works can view all of your personal, private, financial history. That's not libertarian, Peter Thiel. It's not. You're lying and you're a creepy asshole. It's true. There's no way in hell that's for me, is it? Oh, kick ass. So I got a handful of AI stories up because we've got Peter Thiel sounding the alarm about the kind of AI he produces and sells. Yeah, the fucking on top of that, we've got this little gem. Shout out to Sleepy again. NATO launches their own artificial intelligence strategy and $1 billion fund as the defense race heats up. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the military alliance of 30 countries that border the North Atlantic Ocean, this week announced that it would adopt its first AI strategy and launch a future-proofing fund with the goal of investing around $1 billion. VentureBeat reports Military.com says that U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin will join other NATO members in Brussels, Belgium, the alliance's headquarters, to formally approve the plans over 2 days of talks. Speaking at a news conference, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that the effort was in response to authoritarian regimes racing to develop new technologies. Can't have that, can we, NATO? NATO's AI strategy will cover areas including data analysis, imagery, cyber defense. He added, NATO's overtures come after a senior cybersecurity official at the Pentagon resigned in protest because of the slow pace of the technological development of the department. Yeah, the Pentagon, which has DARPA and AI ARPA, and the National Security Council on Artificial Intelligence, which includes people like Eric Schmidt and Piero Midyar and Peter Thiel. They are moving so slow, and they are very, very scared that an authoritarian regime that isn't, a NATO country might beat them to the total enslavement of humanity. Speaking to the press last week, Nicholas Chalian, former chief software officer at the Air Force, said that the U.S. has no competing fighting chance against China in 15 to 20 years, you guys. Scary shit. Characterizing the AI and cyber defenses in some government agencies as being at kindergarten level. This kind of histrionics and scaremongering is the shit that makes gullible, kind of, I don't know, solely driven by their own desire to achieve perceived positions of power, Congress critters very scared, and it makes them pass legislation very similar to the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act of 1984, which Congress passed because they watched the movie War Games and got freaked out, and now those are the laws that govern how people behave on the internet. That is an actual thing that happened in real life. I am not making that up. In the midst of all of this AI talk, and we covered this, I don't know if it was earlier this year or last year, it's all kind of blending together now. But in the midst of all the AI talk, the real cost, along with surveillance and along with loss of bodily autonomy, is also loss of ability to make a living. As jobs become automated and phased out, the first areas that are going to be hit the hardest are always the areas where the poorest people typically wind up working. For example, and this will be the last AI story of the day, I believe, AI strawberries. This is from our good friends at the World Economic Forum, by the way. This is a feel-good piece about the total phasing out of human participation in the labor force. AI strawberries and blockchain chicken. How digital agriculture could rescue global food security. This article is part of the Davos agenda. Winston Ma, the chairman of advisory board on open minerals, put this together. An AI assistant team recently beat traditional farmers in a Chinese strawberry growing competition. China plans to overhaul its smallholder farming culture with extensive digitalization in many areas. The digital village model could help solve the world's growing food security problem. There is no food security problem. There's a food delivery problem because sociopaths are in charge of the shipping lanes and own the shipping companies. In May 2020, with technical support from the UNFAO, China Agricultural University, and Chinese e-commerce platform Pinduoduo hosted a smart agriculture competition. 3 teams of top strawberry growers, the traditional teams, and 4 teams of scientific AI experts. The technology teams took part in a strawberry growing competition in the province of Yunnan, China, billed as an agricultural version of the historical match between a human Go player and Google's DeepMind AI. The beginning, the traditional teams were expected to draw best practices from their collective planting and agricultural experience, and they did for a while. They led an efficient production for a few months before the technology teams gradually caught up, employing internet-enabled devices such as intelligent sensors, data analysis, and fully digital greenhouse automation. The final winner was announced in December 2020. The 4 technology teams produced an average of just short of 7 kilograms of strawberries, or 196% more than the 2.32 kilogram average for the first 3 teams of traditional growers. Furthermore, technologists also outperformed farmers in terms of return on investment by an average of 75.5%, according to the competition organizers. So what is the secret to technology that can beat humans at growing strawberries? The answer seems to be more precise analysis and application of data. The tech teams employed a knowledge graph technology to collect historical cultivation data and strawberry image recognition. This is what I want to get to, though. This is fucking crazy. Because, again, the advanced general intelligence stuff that Peter Thiel was saying, don't worry about, only worry about the products that I make and sell. which, you know, we live in a fucking cartoon. That makes sense coming from Peter Thiel, because I don't see him giving a fuck about farm workers. I don't see him giving a fuck about factory workers. I don't see him giving a fuck about fast food workers. The idea, though, that AI farming is going to be the future, I don't know if I can fuck with that, y'all. The human versus machine strawberry contest illustrates that the traditional farming industry has tremendous room for digital transformation. The fourth industrial revolution for agriculture. The complete commodification in nature, you guys, and I'm going to close out this shit show because it's depressing me. The complete commodification in nature is something that we've spent a lot of time going over, talking to you guys about, showing examples of how it's being done and who's doing it. And we've got the World Economic Forum here just bragging about this shit. The destabilization that would occur from the elimination of human beings in the agricultural sector, the amount of instability, financial fucking ruin, homelessness, that sort of shit. That's what's coming down the line from automation, because it's not like any of these governments are going to try to find some sort of balance that doesn't already promise the exact sort of communism that Peter Thiel is decrying, and that we will be receiving universal basic income on our Peter Thiel preferred cryptocurrency systems, tied to a social credit score with all of our information on the blockchain. Do I have any other stories that I can do on YouTube? I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the Rockfin link. I'm going to drop it into the chatty chat now. If you're watching us on the YouTube, why? They give us channel strikes. They censor our content. They don't allow us to speak freely. They give themselves free speech awards, and then demonetize channels that are actually putting out accurate information. Link is in the YouTube chat. Go ahead and click on it. You do not even need a Rockfin account to watch the live stream. If you want to participate in the chat, you can make a free account. And if you love what we do, you can endorse the channel for $9.99 a month. You get all of the paywalled content on the entire platform by doing it. It's a fantastic way to support your favorite content creator, or the one that you think might need a leg up. Go ahead and click the link. We're going to get the fuck up out of the YouTubes, and we will see you over on the Rockfin. Remove.